All right, so are you ready to go deep on Benny Blanco?
Let's do it.
I mean, the guy's like a hit-making machine.
Yeah, he's got like the Midas touch or something.
Seriously, like every song he touches turns to gold.
Pretty much.
So for this deep dive, we've got like articles, interviews. I even found some old posts from music forums.
Oh, wow. From back in the day.
Yeah, like way back when he was just getting started.
That's going to be interesting to see.
I know, right? So we're going to try to like trace his whole journey.
Okay, so from like Virginia Beach to the top of the charts.
Exactly. Like, how did this kid with no formal music training
Right. No Juilliard or anything.
end up producing for like Katy Perry and Rihanna and Ed Sheeran?
And Halsey and Justin Bieber, like the list goes on and on.
It's crazy. So apparently, like, his dad was super into music.
Okay, so that's where he got it from.
Yeah, it seems like his dad really instilled that love for music.
And then Ben kind of just took it from there.
Yeah, he taught himself how to produce, like just using his keyboard and a PC.
Wow, so no fancy studio or anything.
Nope, just pure hustle and talent.
That's pretty amazing.
I know, right? And get this, he was already like networking and stuff as a teenager.
Really?
Yeah, he was active on all these online music forums.
Oh, wow. So he was already building connections back then.
Exactly, like learning from other producers, sharing his music, getting feedback.
That's smart.
I know. It shows like a real entrepreneurial spirit, even at that young age.
Totally. So when did he make the move to New York?
Well, it seems like once he finished high school, he's like, all right, I'm going for it.
So you just packed up and left Virginia Beach?
Yep, headed straight for the heart of the music industry.
Wow, that takes guts.
Seriously, like New York is not an easy city to break into.
Especially in the music world.
Yeah, it's like super competitive. Everyone's trying to make it.
So what were those early days in New York like for him?
Well, I mean, from what I've read, it wasn't glamorous.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be.
He was basically scraping by, taking any gig he could get.
So like not the big names yet.
No, not even close. More like local artists, up-and-coming rappers, that kind of thing.
Just trying to get his foot in the door.
Exactly. It wasn't about the fame or the money at that point.
It was about honing his craft.
Yeah, just putting in the work, learning the ropes, building his skills.
So it was like that apprenticeship in a way?
Totally. And those early collaborations were crucial.
In a way.
Well, they gave him a chance to experiment.
To try different things, see what worked.
Exactly. And to develop his own unique style.
Right, because every producer has their own kind of sound.
And that's what he was figuring out during those early years.
So it was like a period of growth and discovery.
Exactly. And it all led up to his big break.
Oh yeah, when he started working with Katy Perry?
That's the one. I Kissed a Girl and Hot and Cold, like back-to-back hits.
Yeah, those songs were everywhere.
And suddenly Benny Blanco was a household name.
So how did he manage to achieve that infectious sound?
Well, it's more than just catchy melodies, although he's definitely got a knack for those.
Right, it's got to be something more than that.
He understands, like, the structure of a pop song.
Like how to build tension and release.
Exactly. And he knows how to create these hooks that just get stuck in your head.
Earworms.
Totally. But it's also the production techniques,
The subtle things that make a song really pop.
Yeah, like layering vocals, using syncopation.
Things that you might not even notice consciously.
But they make all the difference. It's like a secret sauce.
And what's really fascinating is that he didn't learn this stuff in a classroom.
Right. He had no formal training.
So it was all through experimentation, trial and error.
And absorbing influences from different genres.
Exactly. He was like a sponge, just soaking it all up.
So it's not just technical skill, it's like an intuition.
Yeah, and an understanding of how music makes people feel.
Like how to evoke certain emotions.
Take Teenage Dream, for example.
Oh, yeah. That song is pure emotion.
It captures that feeling of like youthful longing and excitement.
And it connected with millions of people.
Because it's tapping into something universal.
Exactly. It's like he's speaking to the heart. And that's what makes him such a special producer.
He's not just making noise. He's creating experiences.
But even with all that success,
it's not always easy.
Not at all. The music industry is tough.
Super competitive and demanding.
And the pressure to keep churning out hits.
Must be intense.
Especially in the pop world where trends change so fast.
So how did he handle that pressure?
Well, from what I've read, he's actually quite a private person.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, he doesn't seek out the limelight.
He lets his music do the talking.
Exactly. Which is kind of refreshing,
Yeah, in a world that's so obsessed with celebrity.
It's like he's saying, I'm here to make music, not to be famous.
And that takes a certain level of confidence.
Totally. He believes in his work, and he doesn't need the validation of the masses.
Which ultimately allows him to stay true to himself.
Exactly. He's not chasing trends, he's chasing that perfect sound.
And that brings us to his partnership with Ed Sheeran.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other level of success.
Like global phenomenon level.
Shape of You was one of the most streamed songs of all time.
It's crazy how big that song got.
So what was it about that collaboration that just clicked?
Well, on the surface, they seem like pretty different artists.
Yeah, Sheeran's like the singer-songwriter dude.
And Blanco's the pop mastermind behind the scenes.
But somehow they just meshed perfectly.
It's like their creative energies just align.
And they push each other to new heights.
Shape of You is a perfect example of that.
It's got that distinctive marimba sound.
And that unconventional song structure.
It was risky, but it paid off big time.
They tapped into something primal.
Something that resonated across cultures.
It's like they cracked the code to a universal language of music.
But how did they get there?
What was their process like?
I mean, did they lock themselves in a studio for weeks?
Bouncing ideas off each other.
We can only imagine.
The creative process is a mysterious thing.
But we do know that both Blanco and Sheeran are incredibly dedicated.
They're meticulous. They're perfectionists.
And they're not afraid to experiment.
And that's what leads to innovation.
Pushing boundaries, defying expectations.
It's about constantly seeking new sounds, new approaches.
And that's what makes Benny Blanco such a fascinating figure.
He's not content with just replicating past successes.
He's constantly evolving, pushing himself.
Redefining what's possible in pop music.
So how did this guy who was grinding it out in New York
Making a name for himself with catchy pop hits.
become this innovative force shaping the sound of modern music?
That's what we're going to explore next.
Yeah, it really is like he starts with this foundation of pop sensibility.
Right, like he knows what makes a song catchy.
But then he's not afraid to like throw in these unexpected elements.
Yeah, like he'll take a risk and it somehow always works.
And that's what makes his signature sound so hard to define.
Yeah, it's not just one thing.
It's not like a specific instrument or a certain tempo.
More like an overall approach. Feeling?
Exactly. It's like a blend of electronic and organic with this
Ah.
really keen sense of dynamics. Yeah, like he knows how to build tension and release it and create these like sonic landscapes.
Oh, totally. And he's a master of using those subtle effects like reverb and delay.
Oh, yeah. Those can really add depth and texture.
They can make a song feel huge or really intimate.
Like Payphone by Maroon 5. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah, that's a great example.
It starts with this like acoustic guitar riff, almost folky.
And then, bam, it explodes into this massive pop chorus.
It's like he's playing with your expectations.
And that's what makes his production so interesting.
It's not just about layering sounds, it's about creating an experience.
Exactly. He's thinking about how the music is going to make you feel.
And that's why his songs connect with so many people.
It's not just about the melody, it's about the emotion.
And it's pretty amazing how he's managed to stay relevant for so long.
Yeah, the music industry changes so fast.
Especially in pop music, like trends come and go.
But Benny Blanco has always managed to adapt.
Yeah, it's like he can evolve with the times while still staying true to himself.
He's like a chameleon blending in but also standing out.
And he never sacrifices his artistic vision just to chase a trend.
Which is super important, you know?
Yeah, it's about having that integrity, that confidence in your own voice.
And that's something that he seems to instill in the artists he works with.
Oh, yeah. His mentorship is a huge part of his legacy.
He's worked with so many up-and-coming stars.
Like Shawn Mendes, Julia Michaels, the Chainsmokers.
It's like he's got this knack for spotting talent.
And for nurturing it, you know?
He's not just teaching them the technical stuff.
He's sharing his knowledge, his experience, his philosophy.
He's creating a space where they can learn and grow.
And that's really special because the music industry can be so cutthroat.
Yeah, it's all about competition and getting ahead.
But Benny Blanco seems to be fostering a sense of community.
Yeah, like a rising tide lifts all boats kind of thing.
Exactly. And that's what makes him such an inspiring figure.
He's not just a hit maker. He's a builder.
A mentor, a leader.
And his influence goes way beyond the music itself.
Oh, yeah, like his clothing line, for example.
It shows that he's got this creative energy that extends beyond the studio.
He's not afraid to explore different mediums.
And that's really cool to see.
So when we look at Benny Blanco's career,
All the hits, the awards, the collaborations.
how do we even begin to measure his impact?
Yeah, it's more than just numbers.
It's about the cultural influence.
The way his music has become part of our lives.
Think about all the weddings, the parties, the first dances.
All those moments soundtracked by a Benny Blanco song.
It's about the emotions his music evokes, the memories it triggers.
The connections it forges.
It's about the way his songs have permeated our culture.
Becoming part of the fabric of our collective experience.
and his impact on the music industry itself.
He's changed the way pop music is made and consumed,
He's broken down barriers between genres, pushed boundaries.
paved the way for a new generation of artists.
And he's done it all with humility and a genuine love for music.
That's what makes his story so compelling.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Benny Blanco,
What are the key takeaways?
what can we learn from his journey?
Well, I think one of the biggest takeaways is that you don't need like a fancy degree or a rich family to make it in music.
Right. It's not about where you come from. It's about the drive, the passion, the hustle.
Exactly. Benny Blanco is proof that raw talent and hard work can take you all the way to the top.
It's inspiring, you know?
Totally. And it reminds us that sometimes the most innovative ideas come from those who aren't afraid to break the rules
The ones who are willing to experiment, to take risks, to forge their own path.
and to never stop learning.
Oh, yeah. That's huge. Benny Blanco is always pushing himself, always trying new things.
And that's why he stayed ahead of the curve for so long.
He's not content with just resting on his laurels.
He's always looking for the next challenge, the next sound, the next collaboration.
Speaking of collaborations,
That's another key takeaway.
finding the right people to work with can really elevate your game.
It's about more than just talent. It's about chemistry.
It's about finding those partners who inspire you, who challenge you, who push you to be better.
And Benny Blanco seems to have a knack for that.
Yeah, he's built this incredible network of collaborators.
And he's always willing to share his knowledge and experience with others,
That mentorship aspect is so important.
especially in an industry that can be so competitive.
It's about creating a community, a sense of support, and shared vision.
And that's something that Benny Blanco is really championed.
He's not just a hitmaker, he's a builder, a connector, a force for positive change.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Benny Blanco,
Let his story inspire you to chase your own creative dreams.
to embrace collaboration, to never stop learning,
And to always stay true to your unique voice.
because who knows, maybe someday you'll be the one shaping the sound of the future.
Leaving your own mark on the world of music.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep the music playing.